Hello, and welcome back to Hardy's Books. Now, we can all agree that there are forces for good in this world, and there are forces, perhaps, for evil. Anything owned by Amazon, perhaps, is not necessarily straightforwardly good for the world, even if it has good in the title. We're talking about Goodreads. Now, Goodreads is one of those things that we all learned to just deal with, right? Because, it's where everyone is. It's like the best source for information about books. It's all there. And it's so all-encompassing. It's like, well, why would I use anything else? Well, today I want to tell you about something I found fairly recently. I've been using it for a little bit, and I think this could be your replacement for Goodreads. Now, it's not alone in that market. There are plenty of Goodreads competitors, but there are a few things that I think that make hardcover my preferred Goodreads alternative. And going forward, I'm going to be sticking with hardcover and going to try and kind of migrate all my kind of book records onto it and to see how that goes. And maybe I'll give you an update in like 6 months as to how that's feeling. But that's all by the by. I want to really tell you why I think hardcover is a worthy competitor to Goodreads. And it all comes down to, I'm going to say eight reasons why I think it's very good. And I'm going to say, for balance, I'm going to give you 4 reasons why it's maybe not quite there yet. But you'll have to wait and see what those are. So starting off, the first thing you'll notice when you go onto hardcover is that it is beautiful. It is one of those websites that's clearly being designed by people who understand a bit about UI, user interface. There's a tactile feel to the buttons. Everything kind of feels, it's got the kind of material design, plasticky interfaciness, and it just feels really lovely to use. You have, look at this menu. So just speaking about my personal tastes, I like shiny things, and this is shiny, and so I like it. So I think, first of all, feels very good to use. Second of all on this, and this is something that Goodreads just refuses to do, which is that it does half stars. So if you like your book a lot, maybe it's not quite a 5-star book, but you feel it's probably better than a 4-star book, you can tell the world that on hardcover without having to put it at the top of your review. You can just rate it 4.5 stars. I was trying to be one of those edgy people for a while who was like, oh, I don't rate half stars. Looking at you, Sam Harrison. But I realized that half a star makes such a difference. It doesn't do quarter stars, but I gotta be honest, I never felt a need for quarter stars. I think half stars for me are enough. Next on the list, and this is a killer feature I cannot believe that none of the Goodreads competitors have done, which is that it calculates audiobook percentage for you. Like, you can just put in the number of hours that you have listened to your audiobook and the total time that audiobook is, and it just does that. So you can look at it and you don't have to do hideous mental calculation or pull open your calculator app and go, work out, okay, well, an hour has 60 minutes, so it's not quite a third of an hour, and it's like, it just does it. I like to update my progress on audiobooks on whatever platform I'm using. So this is probably going to make me, more than anything else, stick with hardcover through the, teething issues that we'll get into later. Number 4, it has a dedicated DNF status. I mean, you can do this in Goodreads. You can make these little kind of lists that, like, shelves, I think they're called, and they have like a weird kind of dash kind of thing, like lowercase dashes, and it's kind of a bit odd. I think must be for URLs, but on this, there is an actual DNF status, your reading status for any book. Of course, there are going to be those 4 things. You're going to have either read it, you're going to be currently reading it, you're going to either want to read it, or you're going to have decided that you didn't like it and didn't want to finish it. It just makes sense having a 4th status that's dedicated in there, and I'm so pleased they have that. One of the things I really like about their lists is that they don't just have lists, they also have prompts. So you can ask the community a question, like in this case, I've asked the community about books that remind them of films by the Coen brothers. And you can then pin this list onto your profile so that whenever someone comes onto your profile, they can see which questions you've asked and they can contribute. Now, no one's answered my question yet. Maybe you'll be the first one. But it's really simple to make it work. All you need to do is just you make a prompt and then you can add books to it, or you can add books to other people's prompts. You can upvote, suggestions in that prompt list. It's a really fun way to find books that you might not have otherwise found. This one is on the more nerdy end, but it has an API, which is something that Goodreads had, but for whatever reason they decided we're not going to let you have that anymore. For those who aren't in the nerdy space, an API is a application programming interface. So it means you can basically build your own app and then interact with it using your own app, which is pretty cool. So if you have super nerd status like me, you can build your own little book app that might do something that hardcover doesn't do yet, and you can kind of plug it into hardcover, and that should work. At this point, it's kind of in beta, so perhaps things will break as it goes forward, but the idea they put it in this early in their development process implies that they are excited about the possibility of people building added features or added apps that work with hardcover. So that's just really exciting. I mean, this is like such a silly point, but it is such an important point for me. It isn't owned by Jeff Bezos. I just think the fact that it's owned by two guys who clearly love the project, it's their passion project. They're not just doing it for money. In fact, they, I think, are making a loss on it at the moment. So, it's worth signing on, becoming a supporter. But the fact that it's owned by the people who are making it, people who designed it, who came up with it, and it's their passion. That's just really exciting for the platform. I'm looking forward to seeing what happens out of it. And that is the last point as well, is that because it's in active development, that these guys are working on it, continuously and adding new features, you can help shape it. So with Goodreads, I mean, you could put in a feature request, but that's just going to get ignored. There's so many wheels inside the machine that is Goodreads that you're just not going to be heard. Whereas with a small platform like hardcover, you can get down into the roadmap, you can contribute, you can give ideas, and people can then put their weight behind your ideas and get them into production. That's just a really exciting kind of place for an app to be in. I am excited about this app. I am not being sponsored by them in any way. This is purely my own excitement about using it. Just as a proof of I'm not being sponsored by them, I'm just going to mention a few things about the app in its current status, which are things to consider if you're signing up for hardcover that will be perhaps some teething issues you might face. To be honest, the recommendations feature just flat up doesn't work for me. I'm using Arc on macOS, which is using the Chromium engine, but nothing ever seems to load there. So I don't know whether I'm just not waiting long enough or what, but that just doesn't seem to work. I don't know whether that's being actively supported. They have an AI companion if you're a supporter called Ask Jules, and the suggestions I've had back from Ask Jules have not been particularly good or nuanced. I would think it runs on the ChatGPT engine or something like that, but it doesn't really seem to know a lot about books, about recommendations. Also, I've noticed that with most of my friends that I've been getting onto hardcover, that the import feature doesn't seem to have 100% success. Like, I've definitely encountered some weird things going on regarding dates read about books, which has put like a massive number of books in my 2023, which is inaccurate. And also some books that were randomly flagged as read, despite the fact that I hadn't read them. I think that might be because I've tried multiple imports from Storygraph and Goodreads, so they might have interfered with each other. So perhaps that might be why, but I know that other friends who were just using Goodreads imports did have some issues with them too. So you will have to go through your imports and kind of just manually make sure that the data is accurate if you care about that kind of thing. And lastly, I can't seem to work out how to change editions of books I've already shelved. I couldn't change this edition of Good Omens. I just wanted to, for it not to be Book of the TV show. I wanted it to be like a normal version of Good Omens. For the life of me, I can't work out how to do that. I'm probably just missing something obvious. So if you know hardcover folks, please help me out, get it down in the comments, and give me a little guide there. I hope that has given you some sense of how excited I am about this app. I think it's really cool. I'm going to be using it going forward, and I'm excited to see them grow and become really well known in the book world. Oh, hello, Laura.
Hello.
Do you like hardcover?
I do.
Good.
Hello. I'm not wearing any makeup. I don't usually track my reading. I had a note on my phone that just said, the name of the book and like one-line thought. I'm enjoying hardcover so far. I've previously not really got on with Goodreads or Storygraph. As a person who doesn't really track their reading, just kind of does it by vibes, I'm enjoying it.
There we go. So what better recommendation could there be? Thank you, Laura. Apologies about the cat. It is dinner time yet again. He is determined to be part of the... come on, Bang. Come on, come here. Come here. Why are you being so... oh, you got claws. He's got claws. The claws are out. The claws are out. So thank you for watching. I hope you enjoyed this video. Why don't you go to our Instagram at Hardy's Books and give us a follow. Maybe go over to hardysbooks.co.uk where we sell rare, antiquarian, cool science fiction and fantasy books, and you can go buy a book from us. That's pretty cool. And remember maybe to like and subscribe and leave a comment if you've used hardcover. I want to know what you make of it, whether there's a different app you use. I'm curious. I want to hear all about it. Shut up! Shut up! Fine. I will feed you. I gotta get on and feed him.